Conan, what is best in life?
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
That is
In 1982, one film didn't just tell a story, it hammered it into the screen with steel, sweat, and brutal force. This wasn't a fantasy of wizards and elves. It was a primal saga of survival, revenge, and the sheer will of one man against a merciless world. But behind the iconic muscles and the clash of swords, the making of this barbarian epic was a legendary battle in its own right. Welcome to The Real Story. Today we're journeying back to the Hyborian Age to uncover the secrets forged in the fires of production. If you believe in the riddle of steel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You don't want to miss this quest. Number 10. It was originally a post-apocalyptic sci-fi epic. Before it was a tale of a mythic past, Conan was set in a radioactive future. The first professional script was written by a young, intense Oliver Stone. His version took place in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where Conan led an army of thousands of mutants against futuristic cities. The script was 4 hours long, wildly expensive, and so bizarre that no studio would touch it. It was director John Milius who took Stone's fever dream, threw out the mutants and sci-fi, and reforged the story into the brutal ancient world we know today. Number 9. The director's barbarian vision. Director John Milius wasn't just making a movie, he was living out a philosophy. A self-proclaimed Zen anarchist, Milius was obsessed with themes of individualism and strength, reportedly keeping a pistol on his belt during production meetings. He saw Conan not as a dumb brute, but as a Nietzschean Superman. To give the story a philosophical core beyond simple revenge, Milius invented one of its most iconic elements entirely from scratch: the riddle of steel. This central question, what is stronger, flesh or steel, is not found anywhere in the original stories, but gives the film its mythic weight, turning a pulp adventure into a meditation on the power of human will. Number 8. A hero of silence versus a villain of voice. Director Milius built his hero and villain on a powerful contrast. For the hypnotic cult leader Thos Adum, he pursued actors with commanding voices, eventually landing on the iconic James Earl Jones. On the other side, Milius had a physical marvel in Arnold Schwarzenegger, but also a studio worried about his thick Austrian accent. Instead of trying to hide it, Milius embraced it, intentionally writing Conan as a man of few words. Arnold has only about 25 lines in the entire film. This created a perfect dynamic, a villain who seduces with language, and a hero who responds with the silent, brutal steel. Number 7. Forging the barbarian body. To become Conan, Arnold's first challenge was to get smaller. Director John Milius felt the Mr. Olympia physique was too polished, so for the first time in his career, Arnold trained to lose muscle for a leaner, more panther-like look. But that was just the beginning. Conan's power wasn't an illusion. It was forged in a brutal training regimen the crew called the Barbarian Boot Camp. To become the Cimmerian, Arnold Schwarzenegger learned martial arts, climbing techniques, and how to jump from 15-foot heights. But the heart of his training was the steel itself. The iconic swords in the film weren't lightweight props. They were custom-made, 10-pound blades of high-carbon steel, each costing over $10,000. Arnold had to train with them for 2 hours a day for 3 straight months just to make his movements look powerful instead of clumsy. He later said the entire ordeal was just as intense as preparing for a Mr. Olympia competition. Number 6. The score forged in a happy accident. The soul of Conan the Barbarian isn't found in its dialogue, but in its thunderous operatic score. Composer Basil Polydoros didn't just write background music. He forged an ancient war chant using a 90-piece orchestra and a 24-voice choir to give the film a mythic weight. And the film's most iconic musical moment was a complete accident. The powerful theme, Anvil of Crime, which plays over the opening scene of Conan's father forging the sword, was originally written for the final climax. During editing, director Milius felt the opening was flat and lacked impact. As an experiment, he placed the epic climax music over the sequence. The powerful percussive music transformed a simple scene into the birth of a legend, setting the tone for the entire film before a single word of dialogue was spoken. Hey, this barbarian epic is only just getting started. If you're enjoying this, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out. And you'll want to stick around, because coming up, we have stories of real booze, real bones, and very real danger. Number 5. A thirst for realism, booze, and bones. Milius's pursuit of authenticity went to extreme and often disturbing lengths. For the infamous orgy scene in Thossa Doom's temple, John Milius wanted genuine, uninhibited chaos, not actors pretending to be debauched. So he instructed the prop department to serve real, potent alcohol to the hundreds of cast and extras. As the long shooting day went on, the set slowly devolved from a controlled film environment into a genuine, wild party. The extras became progressively more inebriated, and the chaotic energy you see on screen wasn't just acting, it was real. This created a scene with an authenticity that would be completely unthinkable and grounds for immediate shutdown on any modern film set. Another example is the scene where Conan discovers the Atlantean sword on the throne of an ancient king. The mummified king was no prop. It was a real human skeleton. In his relentless pursuit of authenticity, director John Milius had the production source it from a medical supply company in India. The art department then disturbingly dressed the skeleton with clay and bits of dried flesh to create the desiccated, ancient look. The cast and crew were reportedly quite unnerved by having an actual corpse on set, which only added to the scene's eerie power. Number 4. The famous camel punch was real. In one of the film's funniest and most shocking moments, a drunken Conan stumbles up to a camel and, after being hissed at, punches it square in the face. This was not in the script. The camel was being difficult, and his trainer suggested that Arnold should actually hit it to get a reaction. Never one to back down from a challenge, Arnold did just that. The camel's surprised reaction is completely genuine. The scene is a perfect, brutal piece of physical comedy that could only have happened in a movie of this era. Number 3. The witch burning was a near disaster. During the scene where Conan throws the witch into a fire pit, the stunt went horribly and terrifyingly wrong. The plan was to swap actress Cassandra Gava with a dummy at the last second before the pyrotechnics were triggered. However, due to a miscommunication and Milius's desire to capture a look of genuine terror, the flames were ignited while Gava was still on the platform. The flames shot up, engulfing her and singeing her eyebrows and hair. She was pulled out, shaken and terrified, but thankfully not seriously injured. It was a terrifyingly close call that almost ended in tragedy, and stands as one of the most dangerous examples of the raw and untamed nature of the film's production. Number 2. The stunts were real, and so were the injuries. Milius insisted on a raw, brutal realism, which meant very few camera tricks. The actors performed most of their own stunts, and they paid the price. During the scene where Conan is chased by dogs, the dogs were really set loose, and Arnold had to run for his life. In another take, he was actually bitten by one of those dogs and required stitches. In that same scene, when he climbed the rock, he tumbled down, leaving him badly scraped and bruised. The physicality was intense, and the pain you see on screen was often completely authentic. Number 1. The crucifixion scene used real vultures. For the brutal Tree of Woe sequence, where Conan is crucified and left for dead, Milius wanted absolute realism, so he had real, dead vultures tied to the tree around Arnold. But the stench under the hot Spanish sun was unbearable. For the shots where the vulture pecked at Conan's chest, they used a combination of a live trained vulture and a mechanical one. For one take, the live vulture became aggressive and actually pecked at Arnold, who had to clench his teeth and endure it to get the shot. He wasn't just acting, he was genuinely being attacked by a giant bird while pinned to a tree. Conan the Barbarian wasn't just a movie. It was a trial by fire. It was forged with steel, pain, and the unwavering vision of a director who refused to compromise. It launched the career of a global superstar and proved that fantasy could be brutal, intelligent, and epic. It's a film that still feels as powerful and raw today as it did in 1982. If this movie still speaks to your inner warrior, let everyone know your favorite Conan moment in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and remember the riddle of steel.